Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadam tam bhaktanam ekadantam upasmahe Jnananandamayam devam nirmalaspatikakrutim Adharam sarvavidyanam hayagrivam upasmahe Krishnam kamalapatraksham punyasravanakirtanam Vasudevam jagadyonim Naumi Narayanam Harim Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajwalito Gnanamaya Pradipaha. So today is the Vidura Neeti day, Saturday. And you are in India 6 o'clock, and outside the country we have got different timings. But we are all very fortunate to go to know what Vidura wants to advise people, and all that talk done by Vidura is eternal and valid at all times. Actually, the Vidura speech comes out only when Dhritarashtra wanted to have some kind of peace, when especially when Sanjaya came the previous evening and reported his visit back from, his return from Dharmaraja, and he chided that Vidura chided, that Sanjaya, the car driver, the charioteer and advisor to Dhritarashtra, he chided that and caused more confusion and fear in the mind of Dhritarashtra and went away, saying that I am going to announce the message and ideas given by Dharmaraja, not to you in privacy, but in public. In the open court tomorrow, I am going to announce. So right from that time, Dhritarashtra's mind was gripped by anxiety. What would be the kind of announcement, or what would be the kind of message which Dharmaraja sent after themselves undergoing the Vanavasa for 13 years, 12 plus 1. And in that context, Vidura went on telling, and we have come up to the second chapter, where Vidura tries to impress people and bringing the Sadhya Devatas and also the Maharshi come in dialogue. So the Atreya and Sadhya's dialogue, that we are going on. And so when the question was put by the Sadhyas, considering the Rishi to be full of knowledge and all that, then the Rishi begins to speak in this particular context. Now I am in the fifth stanza, which we have already covered, but still I revise. And the talk is that the mendicant Rishi answers saying that Akrusyamano na kroshan manyureva titichitaha akroshtaram nirdahati sukrutam chasya vindati. He says, Akrosyamanam, if anybody is reproaching you, you should not scold them back again, slander them again. And so you should develop a kind of titiksha, a kind of tolerance, because akroshtaram nirdahati, anybody who is trying to criticize, point out others' virtues and all that, then he will be suffering and he will lose all that punyam, sukrutam, and that he has done, he will lose that. Therefore, he says that na krosi sya navamani parasya mitradrohi nota nichopasevi nacha atimani nacha hina vrittaha rutsham vacham rusatim varjayati. So rutsham vasam varjayati. Here the Maharshi Putra is telling, avoid words that are very harsh. Rutsha means the type of language that comes out of your own anger, your own manu, and all that. Rusatim varjayati rutsham. And who are these? So he said that don't indulge in trying to criticize and reproach others. Don't humiliate. That is navamani parasya. Inkukarni మీరు అవమానం చేయకూడదు. నవమాని. And secondly, mitradrohi nota nichopavarti. You should not betray friends and quarrel with friends. There may be some kind of difference between the two friends, but it is a temporary one. True friends will never separate or go apart for a long time. The companionship is most important. And again, nichopasevi na uta. And you should not make friends with the lower people whose language is bad, whose behavior is bad, and whose thinking is also bad. Therefore, and we should not encourage them. And again, also, nacha atimani, nacha hina vrittihi. Atimani means a person who thinks always high about himself. So he is called atimani and arrogant. Thank you. Okay, this one. Okay. So natimani and nacha hina vrittaha. Vritti means behavior, character and conduct. So all people will not have a noble behavior. And most of the people we come across with hina vritti, they don't be happy at your prosperity. They don't be happy at your own achievements. And they keep on insulting you or talking ill about you. But still, you should not contact such people. So be not arrogant and ignoble in conduct, and you should tolerate them, and you should be yourself. So this is exactly what Shankaracharya tells you in one of the stotras which he has prepared. There, Swatmana Striyatam, your Atma is noble. You have to cultivate more and more culture and behavioral excellence. So then if you are caring your Atma, caring the power of tolerance and all that, you try to not retaliate in a similar manner, the manner in which the other people who are ignoble, who are arrogant, who have the habit of always criticizing others and also trying to humiliate. No, that kind of people, you should be very careful and lose. So if others lose culture, you don't lose your culture. What culture you have, you sustain that. That's what he's telling. And further, in the next sloka, number 7, he is also telling continuation. Marmanyasthini hrudayam tathasun ghora vachaha nirdahanti hipumsam tasmad vacham rusatim ruksharupam dharmaramo nityaso varjayati. See, dharmaramaha, any person who wants to be comfortable in his own behavioral excellence and good behavior, he will try to avoid varjayati. Supposing you do like that, if you start retaliating with harsh words, what does that harsh words do? The speech freega, softga, and mandanga. That's why mrudu madhura bhasha. And Valmiki Maharshi always tells that the speech must be mrudu, speech must be madhura, and bhasha is the language, expressions. So even for Sita, the same expression is there, which Valmiki does when Anjaneya spoke so much to Sita Devi, though she was put in a very awkward condition, Ravana coming, hiding, putting some conditions. In spite of all that, Madhuram Vanim, she spoke in a very sweet, friendly manner with Anjaneya. And again, when Anjaneya reached Rama, and then Rama asked, what did Sita, Madhura Bhashani, spoke to me as a part of message? So that is what is the positiveness. And supposing you always get excited, you become angry and use your words, what does it do? That burns and scorches. See, marmani asthini hrudayam asun ghora vachaha nirdayanti pumsam iha. Iha means in this world, upon the earth, or in the circumstances in which they are placed, when they are talking all ugly, ghastly, angry words, irritant words, that will burn, that will disturb their secret parts of the body, their bones, their heart, their life and pranam, and their breathing process, and everything will be very much affected because of the ghora speech. You know, we have got ghora, ati ghora. There are people who always indulge in that. And therefore, in the second line, it is advised, therefore, Vacham rusatim ruksharupam dharma ramaha tasmat nityasam varjayet. So Vidura is telling to, making that Rishi to tell, because always if you speak, you may not be happy. But if you bring quotations, other speech as a part of advice too, then you will definitely be happy. That's exactly is the best method to advise human beings. Because if a man to advise other man, they will not be happy. You order an advice cheyadaniki, who are you, how are you qualified, etc. Questions, retaliations come. But if others were to be quoted, then people have to say, so and so said like that, Einstein told, Vajreshwaraya told, or this fellow told, like that. So this kind of quotation is very important. Even Shankaracharya also, in his own writings, when he wants to communicate something, he will only bring in others' quotations in his own language and then try to convince us. And that is how the best method to see that you will be peaceful. Most important is that Vidura is telling, in your speech, in your behavior, in your character, you should be convinced. That exactly is called as Dharma Ramaha. See, Dharma Rama, take asylum in Dharma, take your shelter in Dharma, and that is the culture. And then you say like that. And that too is not only temporary practice, he says, Nityasaha, that virtuous behavior should be there with you always. In what? Trying to abstain from harsh and angry words. Because harsh and angry words, nobody need to go to educational center and learn them. See, చెడు అనేది ఆటోమేటిక్గా అందరిలోనూ నిండిపోయి ఉంటుంది. We go to acharyas and gurus and all those people only to try to get rid of the chadu in us. The Tyagaraja has made a beautiful composition. Very good. He said, Chade buddhi manura. In that composition, Chade buddhi, we have always the mind going in a negative direction, going to think of more and more fears. Thereby, we make ourselves more miserable. Already fears are there. Already tensions and problems are there in one's life. But we try to imagine more and make ourselves hopeless. And when we are hopeless, looking at hopeless, the other people also become hopeless. Therefore, keep your spirits always virtuous, keep your language always fine, and your health will be really better. That's why he says that, so dharma ramaha nityaso varjayati. And in the next 8th sloka of Vidura Neeti in 2nd chapter tells you, arum turam purusham rukshavacham vakkantakaihi vitudantam manushyan vidyadalakshmi katamam jananam mukho nibaddho nirutim vahantam. So nirutim vahantam is what important. Niruti is the negativity. We say that half glass empty. We never say half glass full with coffee or juice. So nirutam vahantam mukhe jananam alakshmi katamam vidyatu. So ఎవరైతే ఇటువంటి అలక్ష్మీకరమైనటువంటి మాటలను బిహేవియర్ను పెట్టుకుంటారో వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా చాలా కష్టపడతారు. అండ్ ఏంటి అరుం తురం పురుషం వృక్షవాచం వాక్కంటకైః వితుదంతం మనుష్యాన్. Who are those people who indulge in negativity? So manushyan vitudantam. So the worst of men are noted for harsh and wrathful speech, and they will be unnecessarily burning their inner parts of the body, emotions, with the wordy thorns. See, kantaka is a thorn, mullu, and vakkantaka, vacha aparadha. You need not use a weapon. You need not use your hand to hurt people, but merely by your speech, if you are very much intelligent in your speech, trying to give message and turn them away, then you are really great. I just give you a small example of in one of the Kavitrayas, when Krishnadevaraya went away with a large army to fight with the enemies who attacked the country, the Rajyam. In one direction, a king by name Gajapati Maharaja, he thought that is the best time. When king is not there away, it is best time for him to invade Vijayanagara Empire and take hold of the land when Krishnadevaraya is not there. Krishnadevaraya లేనప్పుడు ఇంకో చోట యుద్ధానికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఆ గజపతి మహారాజు ఏమనుకుంటాడంటే, ఇప్పుడు this is right time for me to attack and see that I can take hold of the Krishnadevaraya's empire. And at that time, all the soldiers, all the youth were away with Krishnadevaraya. There were only old people, poets, and women, and young people, and boys, small boys or children left in the country, in the state. And then there was such a chaos. Then Maharani came and told that Kavi, probably Nannaya or Srinath or somebody, I don't remember much the name of the poet. He says, and what word he's just sent one letter to Gajapati Maharaja. In that he wrote that Kukka chochina chochina, Kukka chochina chochina, you are getting on into this country when the Maharaja is not there, when a right for a hero is there to retaliate your attacks. So you are just like a dog. What the dog does, కుక్కలు మార్కెట్లో పోతుంటుంది, వస్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఎవరైనా కుక్కను కేర్ చేస్తారేంటి? There is no information beforehand or after for a dog to enter into the market. So కుక్క వచ్చినట్టు వస్తారు అంటారు. అంటే మీ purposeless walk guide. So now you are just like a cook or a dog that you have come. కుక్క చొచ్చిన రీతి అంటారు. ఆ మాట వినుకొని గజపతి మహారాజా, he just felt insulted and he realized the message, importance of message, and he went back. And I just remember only a few expressions. And when Vijayanagara Empire was not, the king was not there. Actually, ఇక్కడ కూడా in this sloka also he says that if you were to use harsh words, that will only be affecting you and also those people who are sensitive for those words. So you should be very careful. So Vidyat Alakshmikatamam. He says Alakshmikatamam means it is not Lakshmikaram. We have Lakshmikaram and Alakshmikaram and Jananam. And moreover, Manushyan Vitudantam. So in these words,
గురుగారు కొద్దిగా మీ మాట సరిగ్గా వినిపించట్లేదండి. శర్మ గారు ఐప్యాడ్ కొద్దిగా మ్యూట్ పెడతారా?
So, he's telling Nirruti is a negative goddess. And you know, sadhyas are there. Sadhya devatas are there. And among the gods, Nirruti devata is there. Who is the companion to Yama, doing all negativity. And now I am going to the 9th sloka, where another advice has been given by Vidura or Maharshi. I'm just repeating. Parahached anamadhi idheta bhanaihi visham sutishmaihi anal Sutitšnaihi analarkadiptaihi virichyamanopi atirichyamano vidyat kavihi sukrutam me dadhati. So, before I told about a kavi, a wise man, how he can try to avoid war. How he can avoid war and keep the enemy. Sharmagaru, please mute it and then you can have. So in this sloka, again I repeat the slokam. Paraschedena adhividheta bhanayirvrusham sutishmaihi analarkadiptaihi virichyamano virichyamana vidyat krutam.
గురుగారు నేనండి ప్రసాద్ని. మీ మాట అసలు వినిపించట్లేదండి ఈ డిస్టర్బెన్స్ వల్ల.
Please mute your iPad. So now let us and also read the next words. Idi santam sevate yadya santam. Idi santam sevate yadya santam. Tapasya stenameva vaso yatha randavasam prayati తథా సతేషాం వశమభ్యుపైతి.
అమ్మాయి వండడం సరే కదా, ఏం తిన్నావు మరి ఎలా డిన్నర్ ఏం చేశారు అంటే కార్న్ మిక్సర్ తెచ్చింది. మరి దాన్ని ఏమో టమాటో రైస్ ఇద్దరికి తెచ్చింది.
సో శర్మ గారు ప్లీజ్ మ్యూట్
టమాటో రైస్ తెచ్చింది కదా, దమ్మి తెచ్చి పెట్టింది. అది కూడా
మ్యూట్ యువర్ ఐప్యాడ్. Paraschedena. So now we come to that. So Paraschedena madhivadhyeta banairvrusham sutishnaihi analarkadiptaihi virichyamanopi atirichyamanaha vidyat kavihi sukrutam me dadhati. So the man Kavihi sukrutam me dadhati. Kavihi is one who is wise, intelligent, and thought. That's why it's called. So if the Kavi, the man who is wise, pierced by another's wordy arms, arrows, banaihi, Rusham Vidheta. Vidheta means anybody will be hurt by the arrows. But here there is a metaphor. Rupaka, what kind of arrows are there? It is Analarkadiptaihi Banaihi. So wordy arrows which are sharp pointed and they are burning. Bhavani, you try to mute others, no? You have the power. Mute. The man that is wise, that is Kavi. Sukrutam me dadhati. Kavihi vidyat. Sukrutam me dadhati. See, the man that is wise, but pierced by another's wordy arrows, sharp pointed and smart and burning like the fire or the sun, and gets deeply wounded and burning with pain, bear them patiently, remembering that the slanderer's merits become his. Just now I told that a Kavi, a wise man, a cultured person, need not lose his culture just because the other man is simply hurting and piercing his feelings and mind with wordy arrows. Normally, Vak Bana, Vak Shula, like that. See, speech cannot be always same, but bad people use harsh words, ugly words, and hopeless words. So with that, even though there are people who try to hurt, a wise man will just tolerate, remain mum, silent. Because that the same thing we say, my guru used to say, Subramanya Shastri, in Anantapuram, Kim Vara, while teaching, Kim Vara, that is Kim Varakaihi. So Kim Varakaihi means Varakas are not hopeful birds. So they will be going on talking, they will be making sounds and sounds and sounds. You should not honor that. Another example could be, to illustrate the point in the sloka number 9, when elephant is walking gently, the dogs will keep barking and chasing after. The elephant does not care them. But because of the silence and because of moving that, automatically the fellows who are scolding or who are talking reproaches and all slandering, they stop doing it. So they don't lose their individual culture. You should not always complain. That fellow is shouting at me. How not I also shout? That is no good policy. And therefore, Kavihi Sukrutam me dadhati virichyamanopi atirichyamanopi. So these are all the two. So whatever be the way that he is being slandered or pierced with the word arrows, then that's exactly a good message for Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is really basically a great man. He's a Mahatma. But some weakness is there. Every great man will have great weakness. And that weakness, that great weakness in that great man brings him down the ways. He will perish. But if the great man were to realize his weakness and control it, then he will definitely be honored. Therefore, to remain great is really difficult. They have weaknesses. But the best one is to control. That's why you are called as a kavi. Kavihi vidyat sukrutam me dadhati. Now, next 10th verse we are talking. That is, yadi santam sevate yadjasantam tapasvinam yadi stenam eva vaso yatha rangavasam prayati tatha satesham vasamabhyupeti. It's a beautiful analogy. See, associateship or the companionship is important. So now there is a comparison given of a cloth, a colored cloth and ordinary good color, good strong colored cloth. If you were to wash or mix them, the ordinary cloth will get the color of the other cloth. And so because the other cloth loses its color when put in the water, that's how everybody's experience. Therefore, asantam santam sevate, idi santam sevate asantam. And tapasvinam yadiva stenameva. And this is the thing, that is, supposing anybody waits upon one that is good or upon one that is wicked, upon one that is possessed of ascetic merit, tapasvinam, or upon one that is a thief, they automatically share that kind of feelings each other. A bad fellow might become good and a good fellow becomes a bad. If 10 people are there smoking and if 11th person were to come, he would also be tempted to smoke. So that kind of attraction, whatever it is like that, so you should be having controls by yourself. That's what is the advice for Dhritarashtra. Say, santam asantam tapasvinam stenam sevate yadi. If a wicked fellow were to make friends with the santa, if a santa were to make friends with the asanta, then a tapasvi making friendship with the thief and a thief doing contact. So, ఇద్దరిలో తెలుగులో అంటుంటారు, ఒకరు ఒకరితో చేరితే ఆ ఇంకొకరి స్వభావం వీళ్ళకి వస్తుంది. Even Bhavbhuti in Uttar Ramacharitam, he says how the Sita Rama Dampatyam was described. So wife and husband, they after 6 months stay together, they will definitely exchange their feelings and then behavior. So dondu donde antaru. Atla ikkada kuda that Vidura is bringing the idea that the qualities get intermixed, get mixed up. So you must be very careful as to choose the companionship. How, like, if you put a color-losing cloth into a white or other color-grabbing cloth, the other cloth will catch the color and it loses its original color. In other words, the culture. Beautiful, see? A companion is very much important, the choice of, and also there is an English proverb. A man is judged by the robes he wears, by the speech he makes, and by the conduct he shows out. That is English proverb. So the same thing, but English people later on, in our Mahabharata, that is a fund of information and behavioral excellence. Because in Mahabharata, we have good, bad, and different. And therefore, Mahabharata is not a Parayana Grantha. is not a religious book. It is only taken as itihasa, a history. Iti ha asa. Ha is Ascharya. Iti is only quotation in the past that has taken place. Asa is confirmation. So history tells you his story is called history. Story is a run of events. And that was all full of surprise and astonishment. So that history. Here also, that's why in Mahabharata, you find a lot of this kind of admixed feelings, admixed qualities. So accordingly, in the previous sloka, we have got that Nirruti Devata brought into picture. So Nirruti is a negative goddess, night goddess. We have got to avoid night. Avoid night is a dangerous time. Day is a punya. So ahaha is punya and ratri is dosha. That's why in Ramayana or elsewhere we see ratrihi doshavaha antar. And pradosha is important. Even before it becomes completely dark, we do puja for that. And in the pradosha kala, Shiva makes a tandava nrutya. That's also important. So I think so. Here you understand in the 10th sloka that. So now again, another interesting talk has been given to us, giving the example of color losing cloth getting mixed with the color confirmed cloth. Now I'm reading the 11th stanza. Vadam tu yo na pravadenna vadayetu yo nahataha pratihanyavahanyan na ghatayetu yo hantu kamasya na papamichetu tasmai devaha spruhayanti agataya. Beautiful. Again I repeat. Vadam tu yo na pravadetu na vadayedyo nahitaha pratihanyamahanyan na ghatayetu yo hantu kamasya na papamichetu tasmai devaha spruhayanti agataya. So the very gods desire his company, who, stung with our reproach, returns it not himself, nor causes others to return it, or who, being struck, does not himself return the blow, nor causes other to do it, and who wishes not the slightest injury to him that injures him. So this is exactly what people are practicing, good people. So you should not get into arguments. God's love those people who are really good, who unwantedly or purpose-free hurt others, or trying to allow them to hurt you. So this is what, see, vadam na pravadet yaha na. If anybody is simply arguing too much and they are scolding you, you should not return the scolds. Secondly, those who are hurting you, you should not hurt them back. Those who want to injure you, you should not injure them back. So if you remain saintly way, then the gods will be friendly to you. That's why Spruhayet. And all scriptures tell us one important thing, that you should be good and you should always try to improve others to be good. And that is what is called Paropakara. Atmastuti, Paraninda are condemned. And Paraprasamsa and Atma silence. So you should not much talk about yourself and keep on criticizing others. That is not recommended. Even in Valmiki Maharshi also in Ramayana expresses the same. For example, Rama's character. Rama does not like these two things, to talk much about himself or trying to scold others. When Vali's atrocity was complained by Sugriva, and Rama did not react in the same manner as much as Sugriva did, but Rama only a practical karma yogi. And wherever there is need, Rama acts. Therefore, he is a Kodanda Rama. And that is what is the message in Ramayana. And therefore, Ramayana is a Parayana Grantha. Because Rama remains always ready for suffering, ready for helping, ready for not hurting others. So, Ramaha Advina Bhashyate, Ramaha Advina Prayujyate. That is Ramayana. But in Mahabharata, you come across more than a huge number of characters of variant nature, variant behavior, variant emotions, and variant hopes and expectations. And therefore, we have the texts like Vidura Neeti, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Sanat Sujatiyam, and more like that. We have so many places wherewith we are able to improve our behavior and know our own follies and check our character and conduct. So here he talks about the gods. After all, what is the ultimate for you? The ultimate for you is to become friends with the God. And gods must also accept to be your friend. So when there is a mutual acceptance, then you remain friends. Devanam Sakhyamiyushe. Devanam Ratihi Rujuyatam. So this is what is the prayer in the Sukta, in the Rigvedic Sukta, where Swastino Mimitam or Ano Bhadra Hartavo Yantu Sarvataha are in such a Ayush Suktam. In all Suktas, we see that the gods are basically good fellows. That is, they want to help. They want to help people with the powers endowed in them. And they also want to get some kind of support from the others to whom they help. Therefore, the same thing is given that Devaha Spruhayanti Agatayo. So, Spruhayanti, desire. Spruha is a deep desire and conscious desire. అందుకే మనం తిడుతుంటాం తెలుగులో స్పృహ లేకుండా ఉన్నాయంటే అని. ఆ స్పృహ అనేది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ పవర్ఫుల్ టర్మ్ ఇన్ సాంస్క్రిట్. వొకాబులరీలో స్పృహ అనేది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండ్ పవర్ఫుల్ అండ్ ఆల్ దట్. సో దేవా, ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ constant friendship with the gods, or gods to be constant friends with you, you have to do like this. That is, you should not return bad for others who remain bad. Try to be silent. Ultimately, they check themselves out for themselves. And in the next sloka, number 12, we see another important things. So silence is better. He talks about the importance of Mauni. Muni means Maunat Munirchyate. That Maunam is a vratam. And if you are silent, there is a lot of benefit in the body. There is a lot of benefit in our speech. There is a lot of benefit in our mind. That's exactly is being described in this particular 12th sloka. I am now reading that 12th sloka here. Avyahrutam Vyahrutat Sreya Ahuhu Satyam Vadetu Vyahrutam Tadvitiyam Priyam Vadetu Vyahrutam Tatrutiyam Dharmyam Vadetu Vyahrutam Tatyaturtham. Such a beautiful, simple advice given to you that so to be silent is better than keeping on talking. That's why it said Sahasram, therefore, Yekam Kuru, Sahasram Mavada. You be man of action, but not simply man of speech and promises. You know, many politicians are men of promises. they make promise, but they never get that fulfilled. I know to our Kendra, one great person came. He said he granted 1 lakh rupees to our Kendra. But that's all, only on platform. He never afterwards acted on that. So that people are not nice. Therefore, he says that Sreyaha Ahu Avyahruta Aham Avyahruta Avyahrutam. If you remain silent, not making promises and all that, that is said to be Sreyam. Sreyaha means Mokshada, Muktidayakam. It will really give you lot of peace and happiness. And secondly, another thing is, instead of telling all lies and abadhal, if you are loving to speak only truth, then you are really better. That is good. So if it is a truth, open your mouth. If it is not truth, close your mouth. So don't go and give a wrong witness. And Shankaracharya also says in one of the advices that Paurohityam Rajanitaritam Gramanitvam Niyoge Mathapatyam Krutanrutavachanam Sakshivada Parannam Brahmadveshaha Kalajana Ratihi Praninam Nirdayatvam Mabhodevam Mama Pasupate Janma Janmantarepi. It's a beautiful state. Janma Janmantarepi He Pasupate Mabhut. O Pasupati, you are the Lord of all beings. So that Lord Shiva, you may give me Janma, repeat my Janma, but you don't give me these professions. Among them, he says that Krutan Rutavachanam Sakshivadaha. This is exactly relevant for our sloka here. See, trying to impress others by speaking untruth. One. Secondly, to carry untruthful things as and stand a witness for that. Sakshivadaha. So, yemana abadhal cheptu అన్యాయం ఉంటుంటే అటువంటి వాళ్ళ దానికి వెళ్ళి కోర్టు లోపల సాక్షి చెప్పడం పరమ దరిద్రం. సో దట్స్ వై ఇట్ ఈస్ సెడ్ దట్ సత్యం వదేత్. It is better if you speak truth, but never try to support all untruthful word. And again, priyam vadet vyahrutam tatrutiyam dharmyam. So you can always talk lovable words and really affectionate talk, but you should not at all talk not agreeable words. Therefore, and if you have consistent morality speech, you can talk. Otherwise, never talk vyahrutam tat chaturtham, which has not consistency and validity and virtue in your speech. So this is what is the Maharshi telling, Maharshi Kumara telling to sadhyas. And that speech, that context is being explained to the Dhritarashtra by Vidura. Thereby, you understand, if Vidura only always giving advice to Dhritarashtra, he may not be happy. Therefore, any person who tries to talk about the Niti or Niti Vakyalu Chappali ante, he has to be very, very clever, very, very wise and behavioral excellence. And in 13th sloka I read, Yadrusaihi Sambhidavardate Yadrusham cha upasevate Yadrugachet bhavitum tadrug bhavati purushaha. So is again another way, because man is susceptible, man is acclimatizing animal, man is adoptable person, man is a repairable person, or he is not always incorrigible. You can correct him. So that being the nature of man, flexible, it is always possible he can become happy, we can make a wonderful living. See, yadrushaihi samvivadate, yadrusham cha upasevate, yadrushe icchetu tadruk bhavati purushaha. So man's behavior, character and conduct much depends upon how he lives, how he respects things in the world, in the Prakriti, and how he desires or expects the nature to be for him or meant to be. So that's why, in other words, our Veda tells you, Yavai drishtihi, savai srishtihi. How you look upon things, so will be things to you. It is like if you wear colored glasses, everything looks colored. If you wear ordinary plain glass, not colored, then the real color of the word things will be appearing to you. So all change in you depends upon your inclination and contact and companionship. Beautiful. Yadrusi, yadrusi, yadrusi. How like, how like, how like. What is that? Samvivadate, talking. How is our language? In what manner you say, you serve them? Because if somebody asks you for water, you should give that water or coffee or anything with a pleasant, smiling face. Then the other person will happily agree and accepts your gift or accepts your service. Seva dharmaha. Supposing you murmur, you scold 100 words and then serve him. No, it is not like that. So your personal behavior is most important. Yadrusi, yadrusi, yadrusi. See, ichet means desire. So tadrusi bhavati purushaha. Any man is like a bankamannu. Bankamannu ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే మీరు ఎలా దాన్ని షేప్ చేస్తే అలా వచ్చేస్తుంది. బంకమన్నుతో చేతులు చేయొచ్చు, బొమ్మను చేసేటప్పుడు రకరకాల పార్ట్స్ చేయొచ్చు. Because it is liable. So man also is such a wonderful, flexible individual or unit that he can always mend himself. He can always be shaped into that way he desires, that way he talks, that way he serves, and that way he expects. So this is a beautiful sloka. And therefore, in other words, man is the architect of his own destiny. So man is the architect of his own destiny, and you need not consider others to influence you. Your destiny, your courses, what kind of subject you take, what kind of degree you take, what kind of job you make, what kind of wife or husband you choose. Oh, everything is your mind. That's why in Lalita Sahasranamam, you come across the beautiful compliment for her. Chittihi tatpada lakshyartha chidekara rupini. These three names. Chittihi tatpada lakshyartha chidekara rupini. Bhavani bhavana gambya bhavaranya kutarika. So ఒక్కొక్క నామము లలితా సహస్రనామంలో కానీ ఇంకా వేరే దానిలో చూస్తుంటే whatever has been said by all wise people in different contexts, it is the same. So like telling wise people always think alike. So here I stop, I cross the time. So thank you very much. Om Swasti. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Sarvam Sri